Imagine earning more money than you ever thought you would, and still having to move money out of savings just to buy groceries. That sounds impossible, but it happens to millions of people every month. Jordan makes $91,000 a year, 2 promotions in 4 years, a title with senior in it. From the outside, Jordan looks like someone who has money figured out. But last month, Jordan transferred $400 from savings to checking because the debit card was about to decline at the grocery store. Nobody at work knows that. Friends don't know that. The neighbors definitely don't know that. And that's what makes this dangerous. The biggest money mistakes usually aren't dramatic. They're not gambling away your paycheck or buying a sports car you can't afford. The real wealth killers are quiet. They look normal. They feel reasonable. And because they feel reasonable, they can quietly drain thousands of dollars a year without triggering any alarm bells. Today, we're going through 7 silent wealth killers, the money mistakes that slowly erode your financial future while you're busy living an ordinary life. And mistake number 6? It's the one that costs the average household more than almost any other mistake on this list, even though most people think they're handling it responsibly. The uncomfortable truth is that your brain is not designed for long-term wealth building. It's designed to avoid short-term discomfort. Every mistake on this list follows the same pattern, a small decision that feels harmless in the moment, repeated enough times that it becomes expensive later. Jordan didn't wake up one day and decide to live paycheck to paycheck. It happened one convenient decision at a time. And that's why we're starting with the smallest one. Mistake number 1, subscription creep. You sign up for a streaming service to watch one show, a meal kit because you were tired that week, a fitness app during a burst of motivation that lasted exactly 11 days. $5 here, $12 there, $20 for the app you forgot existed. Individually, none of them feels like a problem. Collectively, they become something else entirely. One Sunday afternoon, Jordan sat down and counted every recurring charge. Not from memory, from the actual bank statement. 8 active subscriptions, $231 per month. That's nearly $2,800 a year quietly leaving the account for services that were used maybe once a month, if at all. 2 of them had been forgotten completely until the statement made them impossible to ignore. Here's the trick. Subscriptions are designed to become invisible. They don't ask for permission every month. The decision was made once, and your brain treats that decision as permanent forever. Nobody wakes up on the first of the month and thinks, "Do I still want this?" The billing just happens in the background while life is busy with work, errands, and everything else competing for attention. The fix is simple, but slightly uncomfortable. Open your bank statement, highlight every recurring charge. If you wouldn't sign up for it again today, cancel it. That 10-minute audit is one of the highest-paying financial tasks you can do. And it leads directly to the next mistake, because subscription creep is really a symptom of a much bigger problem. Mistake number 2, lifestyle creep. This is the mistake that shows up right after success. Jordan got a raise and moved into a nicer apartment. Another raise brought a nicer car. A better title meant better restaurants, better clothes, better vacations. None of these purchases was reckless. Jordan could technically afford every single one of them. That's exactly why this mistake is so dangerous. Lifestyle creep doesn't feel like overspending because your income is rising at the same time. You earned the raise. You worked hard for it. Why shouldn't you enjoy it? But here's the question that matters. Did your savings grow, or did your lifestyle grow? Jordan's income increased by nearly 40% over 4 years. The amount left over at the end of each month barely changed. On paper, Jordan looked successful. In reality, the financial position was almost identical to that of 4 years ago. This is the trap that catches high earners. They focus on income while ignoring the gap between income and spending. And wealth is built in that gap, not in the salary itself. You can earn $50,000 and build wealth. You can earn $200,000 and stay broke. The difference is not the paycheck, it's whether your spending rises every time your income rises. Lifestyle creep wears the costume of success. That's why almost nobody notices it happening. And once your lifestyle expands, something else tends to expand with it. Mistake number 3, emotional spending. Jordan had a terrible Tuesday, a stressful meeting, an email that felt harsher than it probably was, a headache by 4 o'clock. So dinner got ordered instead of cooked. A new pair of shoes was bought on the walk home because today earned it. Individually, those purchases were not catastrophic, but when Jordan looked back at 3 months of bank statements, a pattern emerged. Almost every unnecessary purchase happened within a day of something stressful. That's emotional spending, and it's one of the least discussed financial problems because it hides behind perfectly reasonable explanations. The purchase isn't really about the shoes, it's about relief, about comfort, about creating a small burst of positive emotion after a difficult day. The problem is that the feeling disappears quickly, which means it has to be purchased again and again. Notice how these decisions are framed internally. I deserve this. It's been a rough week. This will make me feel better. Very few people think, I'm about to make a bad financial decision. The brain is solving an emotional problem, not a math problem. A useful test is this: if the stressful event had not happened, would you still buy the item? If the answer is no, the purchase is probably emotional rather than intentional. 3 mistakes down. All 3 of them are habit-level mistakes. Annoying, but survivable. The next 4 are structural mistakes, and structural mistakes are the ones that turn a rough month into a rough decade. Mistake number 5, having no emergency fund. Here's a number that should make you pause. Recent surveys show that a significant share of adults have no emergency savings at all. Not a small cushion, not a few $100s, 0. Jordan was one of them. Then the car needed an $1,100 transmission repair. There wasn't $1,100 sitting anywhere, so the repair went on a credit card at over 20% interest. A one-time expense became a recurring monthly payment that lasted for most of a year. I mean, that's what an emergency fund is really for. Not investing, not growing wealth, just absorbing the shock of life without turning every surprise into debt. Without an emergency fund, a car repair becomes an interest payment. A medical bill becomes a balance that follows you for months. A slow month at work becomes a panic. With an emergency fund, most emergencies become inconveniences you barely remember a few weeks later. People get stuck on the phrase 3 to 6 months of expenses because it sounds enormous, so they do nothing. But the goal is not to start with 6 months. The goal is to start. $50, $100, whatever is realistic. An emergency fund is less about the number and more about breaking the habit of financing every surprise with debt. And that brings us to the mistake that silently costs people more than almost any other. Mistake number 5, waiting to invest. Jordan kept saying the same sentence. I'll start investing once things settle down, once the raise comes through, once the car is paid off, once there's enough money to make it worth it. 5 years passed. Things never fully settled down because they never do. There is always the next expense, the next goal, the next reason to wait. The cruel part is that the cost of waiting is invisible. It doesn't appear on a bank statement. It appears 20 years later as a gap between where your money could have been and where it actually is. Imagine 2 people. One starts investing $200 a month at 25. The other waits until 35 and invests the same amount. The second person only lost 10 years, but the final difference at retirement can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most people underestimate how much of the final number comes from the earliest years. Those dollars have the most time to compound, and time is the one financial resource you can never buy back once it's gone. You do not need a perfect investment strategy to benefit from compounding. You need a reasonable strategy started reasonably early. Waiting for the perfect moment is often just fear wearing a productivity costume. And while delayed investing is expensive, The next mistake is even worse because it actively works against you every single month. Mistake number 6, the minimum payment trap. This is the biggest silent wealth killer on the list because it feels responsible. You're making the payment, the bill isn't late, nothing is on fire, it feels handled. But let's look at the math. The average credit card balance for people carrying debt is several $1,000s, and interest rates on revolving balances are often above 20%. If you make only the minimum payment, that balance can remain alive for well over a decade. Read that again. A purchase that felt temporary can follow you for 15 years. And over that time, the interest paid can exceed the original amount borrowed. Okay, the minimum payment is not designed to get you out of debt efficiently. It is designed to keep the balance alive while making the payment feel manageable. From the lender's perspective, a customer who pays 20+% interest for many years is the ideal customer. Jordan had been making minimum payments on one card for more than 2 years without ever calculating the payoff timeline. The moment the numbers were written down, the illusion disappeared. This is why minimum payments are so dangerous. They create the feeling of progress without much actual progress occurring. If you're carrying credit card debt, one of the most powerful questions you can ask is, what is the total interest I will pay if I continue making only the minimum payment? The answer is often shocking enough to change behavior immediately. And all of these mistakes point to one final problem, the mistake that makes every other mistake easier to repeat. Mistake number 7, having no actual plan. Jordan never sat down and decided what the money was supposed to do. No target retirement number, no debt payoff plan, no specific savings goal, no definition of what financially okay actually meant. Every month was simply a reaction to whatever appeared in the inbox or the banking app. That is not a strategy. That is financial improvisation. Without a plan, every dollar has to make its own decision in the moment. And in-the-moment decisions usually lose to convenience, emotion, and fatigue. A plan does not need to be complicated. It can be as simple as, this amount goes to bills. This amount goes to savings. This amount goes to investing. This amount goes to paying down debt. The power of a plan is not that it predicts the future. The power is that it removes dozens of daily decisions that would otherwise be made while tired, stressed, or distracted. Jordan finally wrote down a real target, not a vague hope that things would eventually feel more stable, an actual number. That single act changed the way every paycheck was viewed. Because money without a destination tends to disappear into whatever feels urgent in the moment. Here's what I want you to notice. Subscription creep, lifestyle creep, emotional spending, no emergency fund, waiting to invest, minimum payments, no plan. None of these mistakes makes you irresponsible. They make you human, and they are reversible. Cancel one subscription this week. Notice the pattern the next time a bad day turns into a purchase. Start an emergency fund with $50 if that's what you have. Increase a credit card payment by $20. Write down a target number for the first time. None of this has to be perfect. It just has to stop being invisible. Jordan is not magically wealthy now. 4 subscriptions were canceled. $50 a week now moves automatically into a separate savings account. And for the first time, there is a written plan instead of a vague hope that things will somehow work themselves out. That is not a dramatic transformation story. It is simply someone who stopped letting the silent wealth killers run on autopilot. And if you recognized yourself in more than one of these mistakes, you are not behind. You are simply paying attention now. And paying attention is the hardest part. Everything after that is follow-through. So tell me in the comments, which of these 7 mistakes hit closest to home? And if you want the next video, the one where we build a budget that actually survives contact with real life, subscribe, because that's where we fix the mistake that quietly feeds almost every other one on this list.